Hello, this is the first tutorial of the series Unity real life examples. In these tutorials I'll be showing examples that you can use in actual projects. It's not fundamental stuff. I'm not going to explain how the editor works or how the scripts are working. So if you're new to Unity, just please first go to the unity3d.com, watch the basic tutorials there. There are a lot of tutorials in their website, and then you can watch this one. uh, I'm going to explain different stuff in the tutorials, and in this first tutorial we're going to see how to animate a cube to speed up and slow down the spinning. Now I have created you have two folders here: start tutorial and tutorial. I'm going to save everything in the end tutorial, so you can save everything in the start tutorial folder. This way you will have everything finished in the end tutorial folder. If you open the project, you have this folder models. There is a cube which is imported from Maya. Why I did not animated the cube in Unity is because we need to apply root motion, and when we animate something in Unity's animation, we don't have root motion. So this is a simple cube with one joint inside, one bone. We're going to the models. We're going to set the scale to 1. Uncheck import blend shapes, we don't need them. We are going to set the root to joint 1, apply, and we are going to set two animations. The first one will be spin. It's from 1 to 30. Set the loop time. uh, Everything should be root node rotation, and we need one more. We'll call this empty. It's from 35 to 40. This is just an empty clip. Set the root motion, loop pose, apply, and now we can drag the cube to the scene. uh, let's make it this way. Okay, we will keep the apply root motion. I'm going to select the cube and drag it in the prefabs, so I have it as a prefab. Now we need we're going to the animator, and we need to create one animator controller, cube anim control. We're going to drag it over the cube, and we have this empty field here. We open the cube, we have empty and spin. First drag the empty, so it's the default clip, and then we'll drag the spin. Now first of all, to test that everything is working, we are going to make one parameter float, call it speed, and then from empty make transition to spin, and make transition from spin to empty. Select the transition from empty to spin, set the conditions to be speed greater than 0.1, reduce the transition time, then select the transition from spin to empty, speed less than 0.1. Now if I'm going to save the scene. If we play the scene now and we go to the animator and set the speed to 1, the cube will be spinning. If we set the speed to 0, the cube will stop. If we set the speed to 1, it will turn again. Now why it was important? We need root node rotation, because if I set, for example, the root node rotation to original, to both clips, it's not going to stop at the place where we stop it. Actually it stops. Well, it's probably because we are applying the root motion. Yeah, when we don't have root motion, it doesn't rotate at all. So we'll keep the root motion, and why I'm going to explain why I animated the cube in Maya. Because if I select the cube and go to the rig, I have changed that quickly. If we set that to none, if we animate the cube in Unity where we don't have root node, so it will be none. Uh, if I select the cube, then I will keep this again to root node rotation. If I select the cube and play the scene, and I set the parameter to 1, and then I set it to 0, the cube rotates to the original rotation because it doesn't have root. So this is why we need imported object which have a joint. There might be a way to do that in Unity, but I'm not aware of it. If you know some way, just let me know in the comments. So let's keep that to joint 1. This way, if we start rotating and then we stop rotating, it stops to the position that it is at the moment. So it's working. Now from this we have to make blend tree, and we're going to call it cube spin positive. We're going to make 3 motion fields, uncheck automate threshold, and then we're going to select the spin and drag it to all 3 fields. So the first one will be point 1. Point 1 will be the value of the speed, and point 1 is going to be the speed. We're going to set the value to be here 1, and the speed will be 2.5, and the value here 5, and the speed will be 7.5. Now this way we can select the blend tree, and you can see that here we don't have anything, so we can just drag the prefab. And if we start the rotation, you can see that it spins a lot faster. So we can actually lower it down a little bit. 1 will be 1.5 and 5 will be 5. So let's test this one. Yeah, that's okay. But we can still tweak it, like point 1 will be 0.5, and we can make 1 to be 2.5. Actually this will be kept to point 1. So this way, no, I'll keep that at 1 and that at 3, so we can have slower motion. Okay, that's cool. Cube spin positive. Now we have to copy this and paste it here, and we'll name it cube spin negative. We'll make the speed to -1. uh, we're going to make transition from the empty state to the cube, and from the cube spin negative to the empty state. From the empty state to the negative spinning, we're going to set the speed to be less than -0.1, and from cube spin negative to empty state it will be speed greater than -0.1. So now if we play the animation and we set the speed to 0.5, the cube will rotate negative. If we set the speed to -1, the cube will stop and will start rotating negatively. Now the transitions are pretty big, so I'm going to lower them down, so it go faster. Okay, now this is working. we're creating one script. I'm going to code in Unity script. I'm going to do the coding in Unity script. If you are a C# or Boo scripter, feel free to write the scripts in C# or Boo. It should not be big deal to translate the scripts while you watch the video. Cube spin script. Drag the script over the cube. Double click to open the script. Now we're going to comment here script, attach it to the cube to control its spinning and speed. We need public variables and private variables. In public variables, we need one public variable speed, which will be a float, and the default value will be 1. We need one more public variable, which is speed accelerate. We need that float, the value will be 0, and we need one more public variable, accelerate. False. We need two private variables. One is the transform, that will hold always make a trans variable in the start and assign the transform of the object on the wake function. This way Unity won't spend resources while the game is running to reach the transform of the object. We need one more, which is going to hold the animator. In the awake function we are going to assign the transform and the animator. For the animator we're going to assign it by using the trans variable, because we already have the transform assigned. So we're going to get component of the transform animator. Now we don't need start function for now. Here we need to type animator that set float. We're going to control the speed parameter with the speed variable. So if we play the scene now and we play with the speed, you can see that it's working. The speed is different though. Yeah, but the speed is different because we have to go into the cube spin negative blend tree and change the values here. So when the value is negative 0.1, the speed will be 0.1. Remember that this blend tree speed is negative 1, so everything is in the opposite direction. So when the speed parameter is negative 1, the speed will be 1, and when the speed parameter is negative 5, the speed will be 3. So now if we play the scene and it's 1, the speed will be, the cube will be spinning with speed of 1. If we set it to negative 1, the cube should be spinning with the same speed. Yeah, but what? Yeah, it looked like the animator was not initialized, so everything is okay. Now if we play and set the speed to 2 or 3, it starts spinning faster. If we set it to 0, it stops. If we set it to negative 1, it starts spinning to the opposite direction. If we change it to 1, it stops and starts spinning to the positive direction. Now why we need all these two? We're going to make a function fixed update, and we're going to say that speed is plus equals to time delta time multiplied by accelerate. And we're going to do that if not with accelerate but with multiplied by speed accelerate. which is the float value. We're going to use the accelerate boolean if accelerate, meaning if the accelerate boolean is true, then start accelerating by this value. So what we're going to do now is actually make the cube to accelerate automatically, and this speed accelerate is going to be our value for the speed of acceleration. I'm going to put it to 0.2. The speed will be set to 0. So if I play now, you see that nothing happens. If I check the accelerate, you can see that the acceleration starts and is going to get a lot faster. If I set it to negative 0.5, it starts accelerating, and it starts accelerating in the opposite direction. So you can use this, for example, 0.1, and this can be used in a lot of ways. You can use games like the Infinite Runners that have been very popular recently. Uh, you can use that to make your character to run and run faster with the time. So it's he's running and running and he's getting faster and faster and faster. This is how you can control the how fast the character will be going. So we can do something else. We can make the speed attribute to be plus equals time dot delta time multiplied by transform that position that y. Now what we can do, what we're going to do here, is the cube will start had to start speed plus equals transform that position that y. So yeah, we had to check the accelerate. I forget this. So I'm just testing on I'm making out tutorials on the fly, so from time to time I'll be pausing the video to check what's happening, you know. So we have to check accelerate. So if we check accelerate and then we play the scene, it will be staying here. Now if we start pulling it up, you can see that it start accelerating. So to make it even slower, I can make to be multiplied by transform position that y divided by 5.0, so we keep it at float. So if I play now, you can see that it started accelerating. If I move it below the 0, it stop accelerating and start accelerating to the other direction. So this is another way where you can use this to do some nice tricks with Mecanim. You can use that to be only equals, and then the cube won't accelerate, but it will just rotate as long as you move up. So we will move it like here. Well, the speed is too low, 0.6. So let me check it again. Let me remove the division. I think we have to remove the time delta time. Okay, so now if we play and start moving it upward, you can see that it rotates. If we move it downward, you can control the rotation depending on if the object is below or above the 0. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Subscribe or like the video if you like the tutorials. And only one more thing,